Last week on Gleeboot, Tina accidentally pushed Artie out of his wheelchair, and they sang Breakaway by Kelly Brienne. And Santana and Rachel just started feuding, and Rachel slapped Santana, and their friendship is deteriorated because the writers of Glee hate women. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
Yeah. This episode was way less interesting in terms of the Rachel Santana conflict, because now it's just like full on, there's no stakes, they're just being bratty.
Yeah,
so
it's just like pettiness.
This was not fun.
Yeah, this episode was written by a woman.
Well, she didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Gleeboot.
Today is the day of the Oscars. Super excited to be doing anything other than watching the Oscars.
Literally will not be watching.
I did not know.
Still haven't forgiven them for Adele's name.
Yeah. Yesterday was Jonathan Groff's birthday. Happy International Jonathan Groff Day. Belated, of course. And then by the time this episode comes out...
It'll be like a few weeks.
Yeah. Also, happy almost birthday to Alyssa. But again, by the time this comes out, it will be happy belated birthday.
Yes, thank you. My birthday's tomorrow.
But in the future, 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Very confusing. Time is a social construct.
So, welcome back to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk.
And talk about Glee.
And talk about Reboot and Glee. Alyssa's asking me to do something and I don't know what it is.
I just did it.
Okay.
It's fine.
I'm Cullen.
Alyssa.
I'm Hannah.
And today we have 2/3 of a trio. My former residents who lived down the hall from me when I was an RA in a 3-person dorm room. We have Bri and Cathryn.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Paige wanted to come, but she had a flight delay. It's not like we just only invited them. We're like,
Which is typical Paige fashion. It's very Paige.
It literally is. I was like, are you? I texted her and I was like, Paige, are you serious? She's like, I'm so sorry.
So what makes you guys a trio?
We lived together. We all went in blind to college dorm life, which is horrifying. And for whatever reason, we stuck together for 3 years living together. It was, like after the first year went great, we requested it again. And it worked.
Wow,
Very
nice. That is really lucky.
Yeah.
It was kind of terrifying. Like before I met them, I was like, I'm in a 3-person room with people I don't know.
Yeah. Wow. Well, good for you guys, honestly, getting like the best draw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, and then we got Cullen, so we were super lucky.
Exactly.
He was
Yeah.
very
On
RA.
top.
I was their sophomore RA.
Yeah, when we had a balcony. That was a plus of having a trio room.
Oh.
Didn't you get in trouble for like saying the word vagina on your balcony?
We got in trouble like every week.
Yeah, I was like, we got in trouble for so many things that some of them I feel like we didn't even do, but people would just come up to our door and be like, hey, shut up. I'm like, I'm sleeping.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, the vagina thing definitely happened.
Yeah. And I do remember, I think, I'm not sure if Paige was there, right? You two were definitely there when we other RA spied on us in the stairwell.
I forgot about that.
Because she was always complaining that we were too loud. And she like said, like, shut up or whatever. And we're like, okay. And then like, you're like, oh, she's so annoying. And then she like threw the door open and was like, Cullen, don't talk about me with your residents.
It could have been a Glee plot line. It really could have been.
Yeah,
It was
what
dramatic.
sucked is that we were literally, I remember Q was jumping on the floor super loud too. And we were like, oh, we don't know what that noise was.
No, I also remember Cullen hiding in our room when another RA was pounding on the door to yell at us about something. And he was like, don't let him know I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, like, you were the best residents, though, because, like, you always came to my events. And like when the RAs would we'd put on a big event together, it was always like you guys and the other people from the floor would come, and I'd always have the most representation. So I'd be like, so I guess like I won.
You're doing something right.
Yeah.
You won.
I won.
You won at being an RA.
Yeah. Because I mean, some people did really enjoy like getting people in trouble. And that was not my thing.
Yeah. Power trip people.
No. Yeah, I'd just be like, hey, quiet down, and then go back to my room.
Oh, yeah. And then we got a terrible RA the next year. What was her name? Like, Kira?
Oh, yeah.
Didn't you did she have like a fit because someone stole a chair or something?
Yeah, I think it was us.
Probably.
Was it us?
I don't know.
Well, I do remember. So you would always take one day off my calendar because I had to make a calendar, and you'd always steal it was like the 4th or something. And I would try and find creative ways to attach it so you couldn't take it. But then I remember being in grad school and you sending me Snapchats of stealing the the day from the calendar the same day, and she freaked out.
Oh no.
Yeah. It was tough because we had Daryl freshman year, who's the coolest guy ever, most relaxed. And then Cullen, who was super fun, always in our room. And then we get the super strict RA. We're like, ooh. Yikes.
Oh yeah. She yelled at us pretty bad one day because we were playing D&D in the common room, and we started yelling because something exciting happened. And she was like, and then we were rolling on the rolly chairs throughout the hallways, and she didn't like that.
Yeah, we were bored. Can you tell we didn't go to a party school? This is how we made our fun. We played D&D and stole chairs.
Yeah, best D&D campaign. We had a great campaign. Yeah, but yeah, some people expected people to act like they're living a convent, and I'm like, this is a dorm. People are supposed to have fun. People will make noise. If it's not midnight, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you weren't throwing a kegger with a slip and slide in the middle of the hallway, what happened on Glee, I think you guys are fine. But even they didn't get in trouble, so who knows?
Well, even the time we got in trouble for saying vagina, I remember we were talking about something that was actually medical or someone's personal.
We were being appropriate.
We were talking at a normal volume. It's just someone either below us or I don't know how they heard it, did not like that.
Which is weird because vagina's a normal word.
The medical term.
Human anatomy.
I do think I know who reported it, and I'm pretty sure they were a woman too.
Fascinating.
We weren't screaming it off the balcony or anything. We were talking at a normal volume, just I can't remember the context, but it wasn't inappropriate.
Yeah, that's normalize the word vagina, guys. Come on. PSA.
Yeah. So, Glee. What is your journey with the show Glee?
I'll let Bri go first.
I can't remember how old I was when it came out. Was I were we middle school?
We were it was high school, right?
It came out in 2000, my sophomore year of high school. So you would probably be 8th grade, maybe, because you're a couple years behind me. Yeah.
I was gonna say I was either in 8th or 9th grade, and I watched the first season because my friend was really into it. So I watched it with her. I don't think I watched season 2. I can't really remember. I honestly don't remember a lot of it. My friend had a CD that we listened to quite often, and I remember one of the second track was "Bust the Windows Out Your Car."
That's a good number, though.
Bust the windows through your car. I think that's the actual song.
That's what I said when we did our episode on it.
And that was so long ago, and the fact that we all still remember that is kind of miraculous.
Yeah, that's the most I can give you.
I watched Glee in high school, probably till season 3, where I think the main group graduates. And then I was like, well, this is silly. I don't want to watch this. This is sad. And then I think I finished it actually going into sophomore year of college, during the summer, bored out of my mind, finished it.
Finished the series?
Yeah, finished the series.
Oh, okay.
I I always loved Glee, but watching it back now, I'm like, there's some stuff where I'm like, oh, this is weird. And I don't remember it being this weird. But I've always been a diehard Darren Criss fan. So I love Blaine. I'm a big Blaine fan.
A very important question. Did it alleviate your boredom?
Sure.
It was something on the TV.
Yeah.
Cathryn,
Back in the day,
I think I remember you watching it in the dorms, and you would sometimes be like, "You want to watch Glee?" And I was like, "No."
Yeah, Bri had a hatred for Glee, so it's very ironic she's here today.
I wasn't gonna bring that up on the Glee podcast.
I'll bring it up.
No, it's okay because we also have a hatred for Glee. Mine is very strong.
Hatred for Mr. Shu.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know a single person that's ever been on this podcast or honestly in like the memes and stuff that anyone has ever liked him. Like I don't think anyone defends him, which is good.
There's a guy I was dating who did.
Oh.
And I legit was like, okay, that's a red flag.
Yeah, it's a big red flag.
He was like, he said, you know, Mr. Shu's like the cool teacher. He also said Smash was good. And I was like, see, red flag number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell a lot about people in terms of how they view certain characters that are horrible. She's a really good guy. No, thank you. I would like to end this date, please.
Sorry. Did you take the BuzzFeed quizzes?
I did.
Yeah.
So what are your quiz results? Like, what is your Glee character?
Hold on. I gotta find his name.
I got Santana, which is interesting.
Okay.
And I think my boyfriend was Sam.
Nice.
Okay.
He's normally pretty good. This episode, he was very weird and I did not care for it.
Yeah, I was aghast. At how terrible he was acting.
Yeah.
Not literally acting, like not the actor, but
literally how Sam was treating Tina.
Yeah.
Again, I think we should reiterate, like Cullen said, this episode was written by a woman. So who knows what's going on in that writer's room?
Bri, who did you get?
I got Finn.
Okay.
As the person I am. And then I also got Sam as my boyfriend.
Nice. Okay.
He's got a very large mouth.
Don't they call it like trout mouth? Isn't that
Trouty mouth. That
Trouty
was like a
mouth.
running joke on the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
They even sang a song about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Santana wrote the song about his mouth.
he brought it up. It's amazing.
Yeah, I was not aware of that.
That's so funny. Okay, this is just a very random thought. So Bri would always say if something was funny, she'd just be like, I'm screaming, but like monotone. And like I still like do that in my head all the time. Like something's funny and I'm just like, I'm screaming.
Oh my god, I'm screaming. Sometimes I'll even say I'm dead because my sister's a teacher and she's like, my students say this a lot. And I was like, that's stupid. And then I started saying it myself. No, I can't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Okay. What are we drinking today? What's good?
Okay,
I'm drinking this beer thing.
What is it?
Firestone 805. Yeah.
Oh, what are you drinking, Alyssa?
I am not drinking alcohol because I had way too much last night. I had a
Celebrating Jonathan Groff's birthday. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
And last night I drank a beer and then probably an entire bottle of sake, which that's strong stuff.
Yeah.
So,
that's intense.
Yeah. I'm drinking water and I put horchata mix in it.
Oh, very nice.
It's like not like horchata at all. Like if you've ever had like good homemade horchata, this ain't it. But it tastes kind of like sugary, I guess.
It's like kind of good. I had a bottle of wine that I got last night from our neighbors, and when I excused myself to go get my drink, the cork broke, which is why it took me so long. But my mom made sangria yesterday, so I poured some of that in here. It's pretty good. It's very alcoholic.
You remember when that happened? We were watching Smash and we were trying to open a bottle of wine and the cork fell in the wine because they didn't have a wine opener.
That's just what happened to me. Oh, gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that bottle of wine is now. Did we end up drinking it?
Yeah, we did.
I think we ended up we're like, you know what? Just pick out the pieces of the cork or drink them. I don't know.
That actually reminded me of something that did happen in college. Is we did not have a bottle opener.
Sorry, Cullen. This was sophomore year.
I
have a picture.
Oh my god.
I don't even remember how we opened it, but there was a lot of cork in the drinks.
I have a picture of me with a butter knife in the cork and a hammer, just like trying to bang it in to rip it out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wasn't good. It was like barefoot Moscato. Worked hard for that.
I mean, what'd you say? Sophomore year of college?
Yeah.
You know.
I'm pretty sure Paige's mom brought it for us.
She might have.
My drink's not very exciting. It's a vanilla Coke.
I also have a Coke Zero.
Whoa.
My God.
Wow.
The trio.
In sync.
I cannot hold my liquor and I work tomorrow.
Valid.
So
That's valid.
Yeah. So I guess before we get into the episode, we have Mary Smash Murder. We're doing nerds this week.
Okay.
So we have Artie of Glee.
Of course.
We have
Which we talked about him not being a nerd.
yeah, but like he technically
He's
fits-
supposed to be the nerd
labeled
character.
the nerd
Yeah.
of the show.
We have Styles Stilinski of Teen Wolf and Ben Grossman of Never Have I Ever.
Okay, well, I'm going to kill that guy. I'm going to marry Styles, and I guess I'll fuck Artie. That's what I'm going with. Actually,
who is the last guy?
yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Has anyone here watched Never Have I Ever?
No.
He's the love.
Is that a movie? Is that a show?
It's a show on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
It's set in the Valley. It's produced or written by Mindy Kaling. Let me pull up I have a picture somewhere of and he's like her arch enemy, but because they're both like the smartest kids. But then they end up kissing at the end. Spoilers.
Oh, I think I know what the show is, but I haven't seen it.
what was his
Yeah,
name
sorry
again?
to that guy though.
Ben Grossman. Yeah, I would marry Styles because he's like the best character.
Mhm.
I would smash Ben and murder Artie because he sucks.
I'm like, this Ben guy kind of looks like a smug asshole.
He kind of is. He kind of is.
I think I would marry Styles and smash Ben. He's kind of like more my type. I'd kill Artie. But Styles for
same
sure
boat.
is like the best.
Yeah, I'm in the
Out of all
same
of
boat.
them.
I don't know any of these people. Okay, I do know who Artie is. Everyone's saying Mary Styles, so he must be good. Bri looked happy when you said that. And then smash this Never Have I Ever guy and then kill Artie.
Wow,
it
I'm the only one who. Well, Artie is supposed to be my boyfriend, so I guess I kind of have to keep him around.
He was kind of a crybaby this episode.
He's the worst.
Yeah, he's not like
so
great.
horrible. But you know,
Yeah. All right. So we're talking about season 5, episode 10, Trio, which
mhm.
is putting us halfway through season 5. So we have about a season left of Glee because season 6 is the shortest season.
Thank God. Monumentous occasion.
Before the year is up.
Yep, we will be finishing watching Glee. Like, I think by Thanksgiving we should be done.
Thank you.
Oh, food delivery.
Yeah. Benny, go away. Get.
All right. So we have 3 main plot lines. We have Wemma.
Gross.
We have the Children of New York. And we have
Children of the Corn.
The trio. So usually I start with New York, but let's quickly get Wemma out of the way.
Yeah.
So Will is teaching about the Donner Party, and Emma runs in and is like,
"Is that like standard history class stuff? I don't know.
Dang.
I think I learned about the Donner Party in history.
I don't remember.
Not in high school. I don't know when I learned it though.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, he's doing his job.
Yeah.
But he's not doing it great because he runs out of the room.
I'm surprised he didn't try and sing Kesha's Cannibal to talk about the Donner Party.
Oh, no, there you go.
For the Gleeboot. So he runs out because Emma's like, it's time. And he's like, discuss. And just runs out. And I'm like, I don't think you can leave like a room of children unattended.
The explanation of the Donner Party though was great.
But then you also can't do the thing that he goes and does like 5 seconds later in the janitor's closet, which I think is Figgins' workplace.
No, it's the faculty bathroom.
Yes.
But that doesn't make it better.
Okay,
that's still horrible.
Did we not establish that the faculty bathroom has a key that only faculty and unique have?
Yeah. Oh, that would have been way.
So why could Becky open the door? I know I'm jumping ahead.
That's actually a good point. Well, they're in there fucking.
Yeah.
I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why are these teachers having sex during work? And also, why didn't they lock the door and then didn't get fired for it?
Yeah. Super gross.
All of the above.
And they should also be on like a sex offender list at this point too, because you can't just do that.
Banned from school property.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single job where you can have sex during work and not get fired.
I mean, like hospitals,
porn.
Like, oh, good point.
Sex workers.
That's encouraged.
There are a couple. There's a few.
But most jobs.
Yeah, like hospitals, like I know like they make fun of it in like Grey's Anatomy and stuff, like they do it all the time. But apparently like that's a thing that happens, and they just kind of like, get out of here. Your parents, your patients are about to code. Like, you need to go save their lives.
Yeah, and then they just talk about it with the rest of the teachers like it's normal. And I was like, ew, what's going on here? Hello.
Yeah, I feel like Sue was too easy on them.
Oh, so easy. She would have been like, you guys are perverts. Get out of my school. And then that would have been the end of their storyline.
Yeah.
And then the Glee Club's not going to nationals because they don't have a coach.
Or a coach beast coaches them.
A podcat. Oh my goodness.
So cute.
So they're brought into the office because Becky opens the door and like screams. And then
everyone would react that way.
And then Sue is like, you traumatized Becky, and Becky's just sitting at the desk, just
she's like staring ahead.
And she's like, I know the hormones out of your tiny, frail bird pelvis are making you want to copulate with a weepy man-child who sings to children. But why couldn't you have waited until you got into your own sickeningly sweet marital bed? And they're like, we're trying to like have a kid, and there are certain times.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I need to go back to my office and prop my feet up because we did have a successful
emission. Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, disgusting.
And Sue was like, no, never wanted to hear that.
I didn't need to know that.
But, okay, so if Becky is interrupting them while it's happening, does that mean he emitted as Becky saw him?
Or they kept going and they're like, we got to finish this and then we'll go report to Sue. Well, okay. But also, Becky's not like, okay, Sue needs you in your office or anything. They were just there. So maybe they finished and then Sue came to find them at their respective offices or something. Unless they just reported right there, which probably the smart thing to do.
She does kind of look like a bird.
She looks like some kind of like woodland creature.
Yeah, like, for sure.
Her
possibly a bird, maybe a chipmunk. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was compiling some of Sue's quotes for like our end of series ballot.
Okay.
And there were a lot of ones in season 1 about her looking like a marmoset. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Also, while they're talking to Sue, they're like, oh, well, you know, like we're above a certain age and that makes conceiving a lot harder. And then also there's, you know, birth defects, et cetera, et cetera. And they mentioned Down syndrome. And both Sue and Becky are like, what's wrong with Down syndrome? I was like, yeah, guys, what's wrong with that? It's great.
Yikes.
So then she goes to Will and they're in the teacher's lounge and she's like, no, I'm not pregnant. You know,
in front of like
Sue
their
and
coworkers.
Beast. Yeah.
Like they could have waited to get home because also like did this happen the exact same day that they had sex? Because it takes a couple days for fertilization to happen.
Yeah, I was wondering, like,
it's not immediate.
Yeah, I've never taken a pregnancy test because I've never tried to get pregnant before.
Right.
But they don't work that fast.
No,
I know
they
this.
don't. Well, even the like early detection ones don't work that fast.
Well, like the timeline on the Will Emma storyline makes no sense because like they have like a full time is passing montage, and then like Sam and Blaine and Tina are like still at the same lock-in. I'm pretty sure.
Right, because the time is passing montage is like supposed to be, I would imagine at least, I don't know, a few weeks.
Which how many weeks are left in the school year?
Well, it's 1 week till nationals at the end of this episode, right? Or beginning of the episode?
Yeah, next episode I'm pretty sure is nationals.
Yeah. So, and then they're going to probably graduate because last year, like last school year, they graduated literally like days after is what it seemed like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, they're in the teacher's lounge talking about baby making.
And Beast is like, you gotta calm down the she-goat before you can impregnate her or something. And like, they're like, you're stressing her out, you know, like you need to calm down. And I'm not 100% sure how medically true that is.
Right.
Because people get pregnant sometimes in like awful situations where they're not calm. We don't want to get into it, but like,
the idea there is interesting, I guess, but then the execution of said idea, it feels counterproductive. Can't wait to get to that too. But yeah, they're basically like, you need to like, because Sue goes into how she got pregnant with Robin. And Kenny G was apparently there and Michael Bolton was singing and she's like, I was looser than something. And I was like, woof. Okay. So
it was weird because like the idea that the female body will somehow become pregnant faster when it's calm, like,
right. Yeah, because I don't know, like, do cortisol levels and stuff, like, with stress, does that have anything to do with, like, how your body is able to become fertilized? I don't know.
No, it just has to do with the cycle of the moon and the right offerings to the goddess Diana, you know.
Is that another cat?
It is.
So many kitties.
Amazing.
This is Frank.
Frank.
So, so anyways, Will starts painting the nursery.
Yellow.
Which I learned babies cry more in like rooms that are colored yellow.
Yeah,
apparently.
Do you know why? Because
they
yellow
hate minions.
What? No.
They don't start liking minions until they're 2 or 3.
Yellow is anxiety inducing.
Yeah. That's what
it literally is. Like, that's the thing.
I don't even know what the context was, but like I was reading up on the color yellow and then I was like, that's fascinating.
Don't paint your nurseries yellow, people.
Yeah, a PSA for the future and current parents out there.
Blue which is calming color. However, it's also gendered. So I don't know how people feel about that.
weird too that he's painting the room before they even have a kid.
Yeah. What she said is
like,
bad luck. I've never
heard
that.
that.
What are you doing?
That creates more pressure.
Thank you.
Right? Like, because now your nursery's all done.
Yeah. Like it's no longer the
Yeah.
craft room, it's the baby room. And until you put a baby in there, it's useless.
Yeah. And like, what if she had never gotten pregnant? I would be like, oh, you already made a whole nursery and I feel terrible now.
Yeah. Now it's like a giant reminder of how I can't have a baby, or like if that was something that happened. Like it's just the execution was so dumb. And like knowing Emma, the way that like as we've watched her throughout the whole season or the whole series, like even like the smallest things will cause pressure for her, and that like this is huge. Mm-hmm. So it's not gonna work. So I don't understand why she's like, okay, yeah, let's paint. This is definitely gonna be calming.
That it's just like, again, she was making decisions for her and it shouldn't have panned out the way that it did.
No, he should have gone to her and was like, hey, I think I'm putting too much pressure on us. What do you think? What do you think we should do about it? How can we help this? You know, like a conversation to communicate like a couple, not I'm going to make the decision for us.
Will only knows how to make decisions without consulting people.
Yeah.
And she should have dumped him when he sang Fix You.
Yeah.
Just saying, back then when he invited her ginger supremacist parents over without asking.
Yeah.
That should have been the straw. So then they sing Dani's song by Kenny Loggins. And they do all these, they paint the nursery, they look at baby names, and Will like points to this like name that's like an Indian name. Like that sings like celestial singer or something.
Celestial musician.
Yeah. And I'm like, Will is someone who would have like a culturally appropriated name for their child. Mm-hmm. You do that. We saw him sing La Cucaracha.
And they're also, is this the same one where like Emma picks a movie and then they're literally eating popcorn out of like a cartoon, like popcorn, says popcorn's got the lines on it, like movie popcorn box.
Yeah.
Which I know people have, but I'm like, that's really obnoxious in this case.
They're watching Drew Barrymore's Ever After.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a calming movie? I don't know.
I don't.
No, that's a Cinderella one, right?
It's a Cinderella one.
That's an intense movie. Like that gives me anxiety. The stepmother daughter scenario there. No, that's not gonna.
What movie would you suggest? Like, what's a calming movie? I wouldn't watch a calming movie because I don't watch movies to be calm.
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing. Is like I don't know if there is a thing of a calm movie, because I mean stories are about tension and conflict.
Yeah,
but you can have like a comfort.
Maybe that's a comfort movie. Yeah. So I mean, I guess not what I would have picked, but
no Queen Kelly. Yeah.
Duh. Or that one that was about the women who picketed for their husbands so that their husbands could keep working, but like they could still,
yeah, that movie that was banned for being too progressive.
It was a solid movie,
that
especially for like
really
old
good.
movies.
Salt of the Earth.
Salt of the Earth. We should find it and watch it again. That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was very progressive. Like even by today's standards, and it came out in like the 30s.
Progressive. Yeah.
So then he's packing for nationals and he's like,
Emma's like, I'm not coming with you.
And he's like, why? And she's like, I'm pregnant. And here's what I'm slightly confused by. It's not like you're immediately 7 months pregnant and it's the year 1450 and it's dangerous for pregnant women to be on the road. I'm like,
nope.
I was confused by that. I'm like,
I was also wondering about that.
I don't even think it becomes like concerning to travel until like the third trimester. And even then, like you just have to get a checkup from your doctor to make sure it's okay. But like, yeah, I mean, it could also be just the anxiety of like, she got pregnant and now she's like, I can't do anything that could jeopardize it, which is an Emma thing. Like, I could definitely see that. But obviously it's at the end of the episode. So like, it doesn't go anywhere.
They just didn't want to pay Jayma Mays for the Nationals episode. Let's be real.
Probably, honestly. Because also my very first line in my notes was Emma in all caps, because we literally haven't seen her.
Have we seen her this season? No, we saw her in the Finn tribute episode.
Yes, we literally haven't seen her in weeks.
Yeah. I think this was the season where she was bumped from like main cast
regular,
to like recurring. Yeah. So, okay. So that's really the end of.
Well,
you said
we talked about it, Cullen, about what Shu says when he's like, oh, I'm so happy.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Well, first he's like, are you sure? Because the last time someone told me they were pregnant with my child, it ended up being fake. And I laughed at that. That was pretty funny.
Good line.
But then he's like, oh, finally we'll be a real family. And I was like, excuse me?
Cringe.
Couples without babies are also families. People who aren't even in couples are still families.
Yeah.
You know.
And doesn't he always call the Glee Club a family?
Yeah. So who are these children to him?
Honestly, he has not given a shit since like Rachel's class graduated. Like, really, he does not give a shit about these kids.
Well, he didn't care about anyone except for probably like Rachel and Finn. So
yeah, so he's like, who's Tina?
He doesn't know Tina's name, who's been there since day one. He also doesn't know like Ryder and Kitty's names either, who have been there for a couple months.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of Wemma. Let's talk about me.
In this episode.
I wish it was the end of them as a couple. So New York. We find out that Rachel moved in with Elliott, Adam Lambert, of the Pretty Little Liars Halloween Train episode. So Elliott's like, well, hey, I know you, I need more money, you know, but then she does make him sleep on the couch so she can have the bed after that.
That was stupid.
She says that Santana and Kurt kicked her out.
Yeah.
Which is a lie. She
Very
left on her own accord.
Mm-hmm.
What is the background beef between Santana and Rachel? Like this, for this current feud.
Right.
I know there's a lot.
For feud number 248, yeah.
Santana auditioned to become Rachel's understudy in her Broadway show.
Okay.
And Rachel did not like
paranoid.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, she thinks, last episode, she was like, she's going to do this. She was paranoid about it. And then now Santana's like, oh, I'm going to take her down. And I'm like, that's not necessary. It's just not. Because then you're going to have to get an understudy. And then that person could come after you. Or you're both going to get fired.
It's just very much like it's written by people who don't understand how actual theater works and think of like a high school play where people are like very unprofessional and might try and do that. Mm-hmm. But like, if someone found out you sabotaged the person you're understudying before, like people wouldn't hire you.
No, you would never work again.
Yeah.
You would become, she doesn't even have enough experience to become a teacher at NIATA. Like Kate Hudson's character.
Yeah, so
she calls Elliott her new best gay.
And Elliott's like, I don't like that.
And it's like, nobody likes that.
And then she says, why not? It's funny.
Yeah.
Why?
So that means she thought Kurt was her best gay, didn't think he was a friend. So
it's weird, especially because her dads are gay.
Yeah.
You think she would get that more? She
would have more like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but like she would understand that like, oh, like that's not cool to objectify gay people like that. Because she has two dads and they would be like, hey, this has happened to us and it's not cool. So don't ever do it to other people. She
probably thinks of her own dads as accessories.
They should be her best gays. Let's be real.
Yeah. So she's like practicing at NIATA because this is the one room they have in their New York set.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, I have a whole band on retainer to sing the Funny Girl soundtrack or whatever. And it's like a bunch of guitars. And I'm like, that's not how the Funny Girl band would be.
Yeah, I was like, is this like a metal version of Funny Girl?
And then she's like, oh, do you want to watch me sing the Funny Girl soundtrack? And he's like,
Sorry.
Doggy's like, this episode sucks.
And then they sing Barracuda.
Yeah, that happened. Because Elliott's like, no, I'd rather sing this with you. And she's like, basically like, oh, you read my mind kind of thing. And I was like, this is not going to be helping you practice for your professional role on Broadway.
Definitely. So, I never even thought of that song as being anywhere near her wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So like, the fact that she was like into it, I was like, okay.
Like she sounds fine, but Elliott's voice more so matches like what Heart, the band, is doing in that song. Rachel sounds out of place to me.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was just it happened and I was like, I'm bored. And then I
have written here that Rachel talking like shit about Santana and Kurt, I was like, she sounds like an evil movie villain. She doesn't even sound like a real person anymore. She's like, they betrayed me.
Honestly, she acts like that for the majority of the time we see her with Elliott. She kind of becomes like this weird caricature.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of.
I agree.
She starts singing Traitor by Olivia Rodrigo. You betrayed me. Okay, so
in the Gleeboot, maybe.
In the Gleeboot, yeah. Let's see, where is this? Oh yeah, so Elliott goes to pick up Rachel's sheet music. And he's like, where does Rachel keep her sheet music? And Santana's like, up her butt. And Santana's like, comedy gold.
Good one.
Santana's like, I like can't believe you're betraying us by hanging out with her. These friends just they live in a high stakes reality. There's a lot of betrayal.
Like, yet there's no stakes. Like last week we talked about how like there was some interesting stakes with like the fact that like this is their professional career, but now like that's sort of isolated and now it's just very personal. Like we're just being bratty.
Yeah.
And it like there's no stakes here because like Elliott could be like, fuck off then, like bye, I hate you both.
She kind of does.
Well, but
in the nicest way. In the nicest way.
Yeah. Elliott talks with Santana and he's like, is this during this conversation where he's like, this is all high school drama.
Yeah. And she's like, life is high school.
And then he's kind of like agrees with it. And I was like, I mean,
okay, bowling for soup. Like,
I mean, yeah, like some people do act like they're still in high school, but like when you confront those people, you're just like, okay, well, I don't really want to be around you, so I'm gonna go this way. Like, life isn't necessarily like that because not everyone is just gonna be petty for no reason.
Yeah, and she's like, I'm gonna wear sexy workout outfits that she can't pull off. And then I'm going to post pictures of her sophomore yearbook photo.
When she was a butterball.
Once a butterball, always a butterball. And I'm like, we saw this character in her sophomore year of high school.
Like, she's not a butterball. Like, she's definitely more svelte now, but like, she was not fat. And like, Santana was like, once a fatty, always a fatty. And I was like, okay, I mean, are you going to say the same thing about Quinn? Because Quinn used to be loosey caboosey. So I don't know.
Their apartment is so nice.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know if that's been talked about, but like 2 waitresses and a waiter.
Yeah, we talked about it.
and the thing is, they had this apartment before they had jobs. Yeah. When Kurt was just an intern, I'm assuming he got paid. And then Rachel was going to school.
He wanted though, so I don't know how often he.
That's true. And we still don't know if he's still doing the internship now. But and like Rachel was just at school and her dads were paying for her rent. But Kurt was paying for it on his own, I think. Somehow. Maybe with help from Kurt. But like, and then all of a sudden, like, they have all the jobs in the world.
Yeah. No, that's definitely striked me. But also when Elliott came in and Santana thought it was Kurt, I thought that was really funny. And she's like, Lady Kurt or Lady Hummel, I need your elf-like fingers to clip this in. Like, I adore Santana's character for how witty and like deep she cuts.
Yeah, her hair is just getting so big. It's kind of crazy.
Rachel called her out on that.
Yeah,
I think she called it like a rat's nest or something.
She's putting in her weave wrong because like she needs to lift the hair up and put it in at the crown. So anyway, just a little bit I know about weave. I've been watching a lot of hairdo videos on YouTube.
I do feel like Santana is more entertaining to watch because she's funny.
Bri's holding up her weave being like, yep, I know too.
Please, I bought this for my wedding and I have to dye it red.
I was wondering why.
Santana's funny. And like, I think Rachel just isn't. So it's like, even though they're both terrible people, like you almost root for Santana sometimes because she's funny. Even though like she's
not a good person.
Yeah.
She's funny.
No. And
also like just Rachel is awful.
Yeah, there's nothing really like winning about her. Because like we'll get to a little bit later, but Santana's like, yeah, I was just taking an opportunity. And like Santana's point in going after the understudy role wasn't it totally to get back at Rachel. Like, it's because she wanted the role and she wanted to take advantage of the opportunity. And now it's become about like taking down Rachel because of how Rachel reacted.
Yeah, so let's get to that scene. But first, there's a scene where they're both at work, and because Santana's like, "Oh, you need money, Elliott," and so then she's paying Elliott to run lines with her, and Rachel's like, "Oh my gosh, how could you betray me?" And he's like,
"Didn't betray you."
And Kurt's just like, "Oh, this is exhausting," and then this person, their boss is like, oh, this couple's been coming here every year for their anniversary or for their wife's birthday. They want to hear, her name's Gloria. They want to hear a certain song. And Rachel's like, happy birthday. And like, Gloria. And so then Santana and Rachel like turn it into a sing-off, and Elliott is there.
Elliott's singing. Like, they force him to, and I was like, is he gonna work at this restaurant too? Like, God.
Yeah, I mean,
it didn't really make sense for him to be singing, but
no, I feel like it's inappropriate because he doesn't work there.
There already Blaine saying he doesn't work there when he sang Piano Man.
Yeah, like what is going on at this diner? Why isn't this manager like cracking down? Well, I guess he was like, you know what, more talent, and they're not asking to be paid. That's fine. So you know what? Kudos to him. I take back what I said.
He cracks down on the people who have no talent.
Yes, they sing Gloria and they're like shoving each other. I feel like there's a lot of repeated choreography.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. Yeah, and then I thought the couple was gonna be upset with them for like being so aggressive during the song.
Seemed like they loved it.
Honestly, the choreography itself, it wasn't aggressive.
No, but they're constantly like,
yeah, like pushing through each other.
But if you didn't know anything about their beef, you might just think that that's part of the song.
I think you could tell. True. I think anyone watching, like, that is a universal like cartoon gag of like I'm taking the spotlight now.
Yeah, but it's a cartoon gag.
Yeah, like if you watch someone do that.
This is a cartoonish diner.
Yeah, you should just be like, ooh, they're not getting along. Like they're and they're obviously frowning at each other half the time.
It's so incredibly in your face that it feels like planned.
Gloria's just happy that they're singing her name.
Yeah.
She's like, oh my God, that's my name.
Of just like going to random churches on Christmas Eve for Glow.
Good one.
Yeah. So then Elliott is like, Kurt, you may be used to this drama, but I'm not. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's kind of what I would do too. I'd just be like, I can't be around you people.
He's like the most mature person we've ever seen on the show.
So mature. It's refreshing. But also it's like, oh, I wish we could put you in a different universe.
Yeah.
So they put him on the Halloween train and Pretty Little Liars. So then Kurt basically says like, we've decided to, kick you out of the band, Rachel and Santana. And because of the tension. And Rachel's like, no, we can do it. We're professionals. And I'm like, literally everything you're doing is showing us that you're not a professional.
That's the biggest joke in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, she mentioned something about how like Blink-182.
Santana's like Blink-182 hated each other and they still managed to suck for a bunch of years.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, first of all, how dare you? Blink-182 is classic. But also like, yeah, that's true. But also, clearly those people were actually professionals and made it work.
Suki is right not professionals. There she is.
Hi, Suki. You can't hear me. Never mind.
So they're kicked out of the band, and Rachel is going through Santana's now underwear drawer. It used to be her scented candle drawer.
I also feel like if you're in there looking for scented candles, okay, one, why didn't Santana just chuck that candle to begin with? Two, it's not gonna be that hard to find a scented candle. Like it seems like she had been down there for a while, just like going through it. And I'm just like, the candle, like you just put your hand in there, like bam, there's the candle.
It's like,
I don't know,
one of those things. Do you guys do this where you have something on your mind, you're gonna go do it, and then something distracts you and you go do that instead, and it becomes like a 5-chain thing of events where you're like, I never actually did the one thing that I was doing. Yeah, she went into that drawer looking for a candle and was completely sidetracked by all of the lingerie.
Yeah, she was like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
Shout out all the Pezberry shippers.
What?
There are people that ship Rachel and Santana, and their ship name is Pezberry. Pezberry.
Right, because Lopez.
Okay, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not as insane as the Quinn and Marley ship. I saw that one time. Quarterly.
That is a cursed image.
I was not expecting Demi Lovato to be there though, so she showed up, and I was like,
I mean, yay! I knew that. What's the name? Dani, right? It's super close to Demi, but not. Dani and Santana have, I guess, been dating for a couple weeks now.
Well,
and yet, like,
since the beginning of the season, I don't know how many weeks that is.
Yeah,
that could be 1,000. Who knows?
Her babe.
And so, like, but I knew that Dani is in this, but then, like, she's gone for however long in scenes where, like, she should be there. Like when Santana gets kicked out of the band, like in the scene we're talking about when Rachel and Santana are kicked out, like Dani should also be there because isn't Starchild there too, or Elliott?
No, it's just Kurt, I think.
But
remember. Dani works at the diner.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Like Dani should be there. Like, I don't know. It felt so weird. And then all of a sudden she was there in a trio with Elliott and Kurt. And I'm like, this is not going to work.
Yeah. Demi I don't think we've seen Demi since the puppet episode when they were like, "You're not making a puppet of me."
Before the puppets, yeah,
yeah, yeah. They
a
had
solid move for their career, honestly.
They had to beg Demi to come back. So yeah, Rachel and Santana are talking, and they're like, Rachel's like, "You were my only girlfriend in New York," and Santana's like, "Well, have you considered that because you suck?" And she's like, "But you don't have a lot of girlfriends either." And
maybe they both suck.
And they're like, Santana is like, "Yeah, I guess like in high school, I didn't have many girlfriends. Like we're always competing over boys and solos, and I was in love with Brittany, and I haven't thought to talk to Quinn." And like, okay, Ryan Murphy, I know you hate Diana Agron, but the Quinn erasure in this season, her not being there for the tribute episode, Rachel and Quinn were supposed to Quinn gave Rachel that bus pass and was just visit all the time.
Oh yeah, never used
it.
Or maybe she used it to come to New York to give Rachel a pep talk that one time. Didn't that happen?
Yeah, when they sang Love Song.
So maybe Quinn used her pass, but Rachel hasn't used hers.
Santana is like, "Oh, I guess me and Quinn were never friends." And they did fight a lot. But I'm like, you could just be like, "Hey, I've had trouble making friends since high school." Because Santana was supposed to be popular. And I guess there is a difference between being popular and having friends.
Yeah. But also, we've talked about how she has that defense mechanism of being mean to everyone around her. Sort of at her own fault, but somehow people are still like, "Oh, Santana, we love you." And I just don't think people are into that outside of William McKinley High School.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, and maybe this is completely wrong, but the small town feel of this Ohio high school, I put quotations around small town for everyone who's listening.
For everyone to see.
Yes.
It's a visual medium.
Excuse me. Right. Okay. Yes. A lot of people, a lot of kids grow up all together from the time they're 5 in preschool all the way through high school. So
yep, that's what happened to me.
You can act that way with people and they know her, they're still going to accept that. But if you act that way with people you don't know, you're not going to make a lot of friends. It's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Santana is just like that with Rachel, and maybe she's actually different with other people. But I mean, if she's literally yeah, I don't really have friends, then yeah, she probably really hasn't adjusted her personality.
Yeah. And Rachel's just so they're kind of there's this moment where they're kind of being "Oh, will they make up?" And then Rachel's like, "Why did it have to be my part?" And, I kind of got where Rachel was coming from in that moment, where she was you could have done anything, you went after, my dream. And it was never Santana's dream, it was Rachel's dream. And This is where Santana should be I'm not trying to take your part. I just saw the opportunity to be an understudy. And that would be a great experience for me. And we're going to do this together. But instead, she says, "I saw an opportunity and I took it. And I'm going to take you down to get the bigger opportunity. And you would do the same."
Yeah. That's why they clearly don't know each other, because I think that if Rachel had gotten an understudy part, I don't know that she would have actually tried to take down that other person.
Are you kidding me? She sent Sunshine to Crack House. And
that's true, but I think
Sunshine never even was directly competing with her.
But you could argue that she might have grown.
Yeah. So I think that because Rachel got this on her own, yes, she was being a brat about it. But I think if she had gotten the understudy part on her own, I think maybe it would have been different. But because she got the part and then Santana got the understudy, and then instantly Rachel just had all this fear about how Santana used to treat her in high school and all this stuff, all that paranoia. Maybe that wouldn't even be in the equation if Rachel had gotten the understudy role. But it also could have been Santana and Kurt having to stop Rachel from trying to murder this or order a Joe Exotic style hit on the star of Funny Girl on Beanie Fieldstein. You know, so I don't know. It could go either way, but it's just like, yeah. Again, if they had actually like been professionals, like they said they would have had that conversation, like you said, Cullen. Like it would have been like, I'm not here to take your part. I'm here to get experience because I don't know what I want to do. Like that's the other thing is she could have been like, I don't know what my dream is now. Yeah. I was in a Yeastastat commercial.
And what if Rachel wants to like see her dad's once for Hanukkah? You know, then now she has an understudy, as everyone on Broadway does. So Santana could take it over. Like just like the whole story, the characters in these and the writers do not understand anything about Broadway. And I'm not even like that much of a Broadway expert. I just know like the basics of how professional theater works.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Rachel would know these things if she's a theater geek.
Yep. It's creating drama where there really shouldn't be any drama. It's really not a big deal.
Yeah,
there are
other ways to create drama without making shit up.
Like, what if Santana was in a competing Broadway show?
And now we have Smash.
Yeah. Okay, so the band comes in and they're like, oh, hey. And there's kind of this moment where it's like, are they all going to make up and get together? And then like, no, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, because they invite Santana and Rachel to their show. And then they're just like sitting there at the show looking uncomfortable.
And they're like, you know, we can agree to like have a truce for the show.
Yeah,
you know, to support Kurt.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's the most mature thing they've ever done. And then Kurt and Demi Lovato and Adam Lambert come out as the new band 1-3 Hill.
That is somehow a better and worse name than Pamela Lansbury.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was kind of like becoming enamored with Pamela Lansbury as a name. I'm like, okay, whatever, they're gonna make this work. And then he went with 1-3 Hill, and I'm like, that's just a bad pun. I don't like it.
I think it's definitely worse.
But then I'm also like, but it's a pun. I'm like, I don't know, is that better? So I don't know where I land. All I know is that this trio is not gonna last because you have two like powerful raspy voices and then Kurt's like dainty voice. I don't know how I feel.
Like imagine going to a concert and you have Demi Lovato famously sang to a ghost, famously sang Camp Rock. You know, you have Adam Lambert, you know, famously creeped me out as a child once on American Idol. You know, like you have these like amazing voices, like these super talented people. And like, this isn't shade to Chris Colfer. Like, I think he's very talented. He's an amazing children's book author. Yes. He's a good actor, you know, and he can sing, but just like, imagining like having Chris Colfer be the front person of a band that has Adam Lambert and Demi Lovato.
It doesn't make sense.
Doesn't Adam Lambert like sing for Queen too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, travels with Queen. Pretty powerful voice compared to.
It was the best song of the episode, in my opinion, probably because it was Adam Lambert and Demi Lovato singing.
It was called like The Happening, I think.
Yeah, which just made me think of the M. Night Shyamalan movie, which I forced Lyle to watch like a couple months ago, and he hated it so much. It was
Is that the
so
plant
good.
One?
Yeah, it's a really heavy-handed allegory for like us killing the planet, and that the plants attack by sending like pheromones through the air that end up like turning our minds so that we end up trying to kill ourselves. It's well, you know, it's one of his wilder ideas. Don't know if anyone's watched Old. Definitely worth watching. It's so worth it though.
I've seen the trailer, so I feel like
I've seen the trailer.
It could be better. I think there's something really interesting. It could be better, but also it's very fucking wild.
It is wild for sure. I had issue with the fact that they were trying to jam the drama of like lifetimes into a couple hour movie.
Hour and 30-minute movie.
Yeah.
It's literally like the length of a regular animation film. So yeah. But anyway,
super weird.
What were we talking about?
The Happening.
Oh yeah, the song. Not to be confused with the M. Night Shyamalan movie starring Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel, the worst movie couple I've ever seen. Yeah, no, I didn't care for it. I think it's because of that mash. Like, again, Chris Colfer is great, but it just, he doesn't mix with those two other voices.
Yeah, it's like oil and water.
Yeah.
Also, once again, we have the 3 vocalists and we have an entire backing band that gets no credit and is not considered part of the band.
How they get paid, we will never know. How they get paid for their time, don't know.
Like, it's already the Glee Club stretch, like when they're at the school and they have like the band kids like playing the songs for them. Like, that's a stretch, but you know, I'll suspend my disbelief. But once we start getting into like the very much like the real world, I'm like,
well, yeah, like Rachel apparently got the production to agree to pay the band consistently anytime she needs to rehearse, and then told Elliott that he can borrow the band whenever he wants.
Like, for what though?
To sing in the shower, and they'll just be sitting there like, on the toilet next to him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I think they have unions that stop things like that. So then I don't think there's then we just see them in the final number. I think that's the end of.
Yeah, I don't really know, because like I remember like Santana and Rachel leave to go to rehearsal, I think, because I know Dani kisses Santana on the cheek.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I remember.
Because lesbians don't actually kiss.
Yeah, because that's lesbian activity. Certified lesbian activity, TM. Kisses on the cheek.
So let's get to like the main storyline of the episode, which honestly, in my opinion, was the most interesting. We have this trio, which have Blaine, Sam, and Tina really been a trio this whole time?
No, it's 2 separate duos. And Sam and Tina don't ever interact until now.
Well, it really is a love triangle. Like, it's not as more than a friendship trio, because Tina liked Blaine liked Sam, and now Sam and Tina like.
And we still don't know how Blaine feels about Tina because of the puppets.
Yeah. So quick for our listener or for our guests, Tina in the Diva episode, while Blaine was sick and fell asleep, opened his shirt, straddled him, and rubbed him with Vapo Rub while crying. Then later, when Blaine is sniffing a gas leak and starts having fantasies where everyone is a puppet and then creates puppets of everyone in the Glee Club, he is recreating that event with a Tina puppet, and she walks in on that. So we really don't know what's going on.
These are all real things that happen in the show. Cullen did not just make that up.
This sounds like a trip.
Yeah, that was quite the episode.
And what's funny is that both in the universe of the show and then on our podcast, Tina will never live down the fact that she straddled Blaine and rubbed Vapo Rub on his chest.
That's so weird.
His bare, hairless, muscled chest. Well, I guess bare and hairless, the same thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very real things that happened in the show.
So they reference it a lot, but Blaine and Tina never discuss it together.
Oh, no. They buried that a long time ago between them.
Yeah. So they're singing Jumpin' Jumpin'. How do you feel about this?
Okay.
Because Hannah has brought up, they should do that song on Glee. And I was like, Hannah, I think they do. So I want to know what Hannah's thoughts are.
Okay. I thought the cover was very meh, but I also have to give some context. So I went to watch the episode on our account, but someone else was watching it and it just like wouldn't let me. I was like, okay, whatever. So I found it on Daily Motion. Alyssa, I don't know if you remember, but that's where we watched the Glee Project mirrored. But this time not only was this version of the episode mirrored, but I think it was also filmed on like a camera by someone else. And so like part of the screen was cut off and it was like 0.25 speed too low. So everyone sounded super fucking drunk. And then I sped it up to make it go by a lot faster. So that was my experience of this music number. Before I sped it up and I was like, this feels really slow and I don't like this. But I think spoilers, I think it was the best number of this episode. And so it's established that they're a trio and this is one of their last episodes or one of their last Glee Club meetings.
So they want to sing together. And then Artie's like, I found out like a quartet is like 25% more powerful than a trio. And he goes to like join in their hug and they're like, Artie, you've had your chance. They roll him away.
Oh, I think it's because that mean?
So Tina starts crying and they're hugging Tina. Is it because Artie dated Tina in what is their freshman year?
Maybe. I don't know. I thought
Tina did break up with him. Even though later they say Artie broke up with her, Tina broke up with Artie.
I don't understand why that has anything to do with Blaine and Sam.
I don't know.
And also maybe they're referring to what happened with Tina and Artie
last week.
Was it last week?
When she pushed him out of the wheelchair.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just felt weird that by accident. It just felt weird that Artie was like, yeah, I want to join in on this hug. And he wasn't annoyed that he wasn't involved in the music number. Because
true.
I would have figured that he would have been more upset about the fact that he wasn't included in as the quartet as we're the four seniors.
Oh, I think he was upset by that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he wasn't in the music number.
He was upset by that.
He was upset by that.
Okay, I guess I'm just misreading it then.
But if you think about it, Artie has I can't think of a single meaningful Artie Blaine interaction. I can't think of a Sam one either. I think they maybe interacted in season 2.
When they
Sam
have the
picked
calendar
Artie
thing.
The calendar.
Oh yeah.
In season 4, yeah.
Kind of.
Well, also Sam picked Artie up last week when he fell out of his chair.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But it is. I could believe based on the way high schoolers are, they'd be like, yeah, Artie, you're not part of the trio, because Artie doesn't really hang out with those characters that much.
But also they don't really get into it. It's just kind of something that resolves at the end, instead of Artie being like, what the fuck, guys? I've known Tina longer.
Yeah.
Maybe I was an asshole, but I don't know. It just felt like it was just about these three, and it wasn't necessarily about the fact that they weren't including Artie for some reason. I thought that would have been more interesting.
I think what happened is, so Ryan Murphy, he hired an enchantress, and they looked into the future, and they realized that by this point in Gleeboot, there are only 3 characters Cullen still gives a shit about: Tina, Sam, Blaine. Maybe we'll do an episode about them. Okay,
so this is assuming that Ryan Murphy gives a fuck about our podcast.
Yeah, that's what he's found in the future.
No, but actually, why did they have this concept? What was this about? Why is it called Trio? Why did they decide that was a good episode?
I don't know.
It's not good.
I don't understand.
I think it was also nudging at the fact that Emma and Shu were about to have a third in their family.
Mm.
And then I don't know about, I guess Adam Lambert, Demi Lovato, and what's his face.
The band, definitely.
So I think it was just kind of them pushing that.
There's who are 3 people we can put together?
They came up with those 2 storylines first because they actually make sense, and then he came up with this one.
And they're like, oh, well, we could do the 3 guys.
We can't just have
what about
2?
Tina?
We need 3 because it's Trio.
Oh, so many trios in this episode. My God.
But yet they already sang 3. And it was Joe, Sam, and Tina.
It was, so I guess Sam and Tina have interacted in a somewhat significant way.
Well, because I remember they were going to go to prom together.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was like, she's not even hot. And then Tina was like...
And then all of a sudden he's obsessed with her boobs. Can we get into the boob talk?
Okay.
Because
Lord.
It's horrible.
It's real bad.
So they're trying on Blaine and Sam, the two characters the only two characters on this show that are actually friends, are putting on their graduation gowns. And then Tina walks in and she starts crying again.
For like the 8th time.
And she's like, oh my gosh, like we're never gonna see each other. And they're like, no, we'll still keep in touch. And she's like, you used to be close with Mike and Puck. Like, do you still talk to them? And I'm like, no, he's not gonna talk to Puck. He dated a 15-year-old. Like, stop. Mm-hmm. And then like who did she say she was close with? Oh, I haven't talked with Rachel in months. And I'm like, were you ever friends with Rachel?
You guys were not friends. Sorry, Tina.
And they're like, but she does have a good point that like high school friendships are based on the proximity of high school. That when something happens, your friends are just right there. You don't have to put any effort. I mean, and that sometimes happens with college friends too. Mm-hmm. They're just there. Like, and then a lot of times when you're transitioning into adult life, it's harder because you don't have those people like just there.
Yeah.
You have to make an effort.
That's why I every time I move to a new place, I always make friends wherever I'm doing this. So like I made friends in college, made friends in grad school, and at the workplace I made friends, at my workplace here. And then now like I'm freelancing and I'm going to be moving into a different state. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to make friends? I don't have a workplace. So like, yeah, it's just easier to become friends with the people that are around you. And I thought that was really great. I don't think the execution is good though.
Yeah, I think they could have learned something more, like on how to keep in touch and how to like prioritize friendships.
Not like, let's make this the best and first and last senior lock-in.
He's like, Blaine's like, I'll talk to the student council. I'm like, we'll make a lock-in. But I skipped over the boob talk, so let's get into it. So Sam is like, every week I'll send a Vine doing my impression. And you send me one of you sudsing up your boobs.
Yeah, I think he doesn't. Before that, he says something else about her boobs, that, like they look really good.
Or that they're getting bigger.
Escalates.
No, that's later in the episode.
But it like escalates.
This is the first thing he mentioned because Tina's like, really? 3 years together, and he finally notices my boobs.
And she's like happy about it. Again, this episode was written by a woman.
Blaine was the one who was like, dude, inappropriate.
And she's like
it was the weirdest. Like, are we sure that it's written by a woman?
I saw in the title screen.
I don't know.
I mean, but as we all know, I've never been in a real writer's room, but in the one that we did before, writing the actual episode is not the same as like,
coming up with all the jokes.
Yeah. So I feel like, even though she might have written it down on paper, these were not her ideas.
Yeah. You know what? That's probably true. Because it's still mostly men in that room at this point. I just think that like, there's nothing funny about this.
No, it's super uncomfortable.
I don't know if Sam has ever really been like this toward girls before.
No, like when he was dating the school nurse, he was very like cute about it.
Yeah. So I don't know what's happening. It's also just like really gross that like Tina's like, oh my God, thank you for noticing a part of my body and physical appearance instead of like noticing how awesome I am. It's gross.
Yeah, I think they were just like, Sam's the straight one. He's the jock. He's the one who's going to talk about boobs. Like, they didn't think deeper than that.
Well, I mean, most boobs aren't trios, they're pairs. So I don't understand if that has anything to do with the story either. So so there's no point for boob talk.
You know, maybe they were thinking of the harpy in The Last Unicorn that has 3 boobs.
You're right. That's the deep cut they were going for, and you're the only one who caught it.
Yeah.
The writer listening to this episode is like, finally.
So then they're like, we're gonna do a lock-in, and then Sue just is like, I've been informed that they want to do a lock-in. No,
that's canceled because of safety concerns.
I'm canceling it.
Yeah, just safety concerns, something else, and I don't know, Obamacare, I guess. I was like, that was great. That was actually really funny.
And then Tina's like, no, and she's like crying, and they're like, we just thought of this.
She like melted. Like she
throws herself on the ground.
Yeah, all the way to the ground.
And they're like, Tina, like, we just decided about this yesterday, and she's like, I know it would have been our first lock-in, Blaine, but it also would have been our last lock-in, Blaine. And they're like, we'll just like sneak in and we'll do it. It'll be great. So they leave the choir room window unlocked and they sneak in. Blaine is in his Nightbird costume. He's like,
he calls himself something feather though.
He's like a dark feather of the night, and then he lands and he's like Nightbird.
Oh, okay. Because when I heard it, I was like, that's his name? Something feather? That's awful.
This is my pitch that Darren Criss should play adult Dick Grayson Nightwing in the DC Cinematic Universe. Have I watched any of those movies? Not really, but
okay.
I'd watch it. Yes, Darren Criss is in it.
You mean next to Ben Affleck's Batman? Although I don't even know if he's.
No, I think the Robin
Batman
in that movie is dead already. So I don't know.
I don't know either. I only watch them to make fun of them.
Yeah. Remember Gal Gadot singing Imagine? Okay. So
Never forget.
Never forget.
But remember what she said. It wasn't even, it was like her idea, but like Kristen Wiig made it happen.
Yeah. They could just do a standalone Nightwing movie with Darren Criss. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm voting for. I'd watch that. So then Blaine and Tina, or Sam and Tina, fall in and they're like, you just had to do that. Like, you just did this so you could wear the costume. He's like, yeah, like, this is my last chance to wear it unless I'm part of like some weird fetish club.
Or if you were like a cosplay club in college. People cosplay at all ages, friend. You can keep doing it.
Are they calling cosplay a fetish? Is that what happened?
Now that's an interesting take. That could be what they're saying. Or they could just be being like, oh, cosplay is weird. Because
Yeah. So then they are like, let's start this lock-in. And they sing Don't You Forget About Me.
Like the 8th Breakfast Club reference in this season.
Here's what I don't like about this, though, is like, the music starts playing, but in real life, it's just him singing out loud. There's no actual music, and I'm like, this must be so uncomfortable.
Just imagine someone turns to you and just
they're just having a normal conversation and all
about me.
Yeah, he starts singing. And like if I was Tina or something, I'd be like, what?
That's actually really interesting. I don't think I've ever thought about it necessarily like that. That like these characters have to imagine the backing because it's definitely not happening. But like if you were just like peeking around the corner into this room, they're just like singing at each other, no music. They're probably all off key. That's actually really funny.
That used to happen I remember when like in InterVarsity, I used to call it white girl Christian singing. Like all the girls would sing, like they'd start singing like a Disney song, but they always started at like the high, like they're always singing way too high for their voices. Like they're always, I'm like, and I'm not like a music expert or anything, but I just be like the song, like the bass line's lower than that. And that's like the high point of part of your world. But they like just started at like the high part. So then when they got to the actual high part, they couldn't hit it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And there was no backing that. It was uncomfortable. It would just be like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now I'm going to be thinking about that from now on. Just be like, okay, these people start singing. There's no band in this room, so there's no backing, and they're just scream singing it into the void.
Yeah, and they're just running around the school, breaking into offices. They
putting faces on their chins and singing upside down. Hated that.
I did hate that. They're looking at Emma's pamphlets, and one of them was, "Is it my period or have I been shot?" And like, Sam is somehow in a women's cheerleading outfit, and I'm like, would they have one that fits him? I don't know, but so it's like a cute sequence. They're like having fun, and then Blaine does the fist pump, which always makes me think of when Anna Kendrick does it in Pitch Perfect, my dad's favorite movie,
which is a reference to Breakfast Club.
Which is, yeah, it's a reference because they're singing the same song.
But this is definitely a reference to Pitch Perfect. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're big fans of Anna Kendrick and Pitch Perfect gang.
We will see a Pitch Perfect alum later this season.
Okay. I'm going to think about who it is.
Let me say they played a high schooler or a college student, Pitch Perfect, and they will be playing a high schooler in this season that came out years later.
Wow, that must be devastating, confusing for them. I don't know how they would feel.
So so Becky catches them and is like, "Your asses are mine." And then they're going to be playing Twister. And every time they fail, they have to drink an 11-hour energy. And Sam is like, "Becky will die." And she's like, "Ooh, pardon the USA."
She has like hundreds of them.
They never cover Pardon the USA.
Yeah.
In Glee. This is the closest we get, so I guess we have to accept that.
How did Becky get through the window?
That's a great question.
How did any of them get through the window?
They had like a stool they brought with them, but then they left it there.
And Becky
is shorter.
What is Becky doing at the school?
Yes. How did she know
I'm going to call
the
police. And I'm like, girl, you're going to get arrested too. Like,
yeah.
Where's Becky's parents?
That's a great question.
We've asked that many a time.
Yeah.
And as we're here, let's bring back, where's Sam living?
Yeah.
Did his parents move back from Kentucky?
He talks about his parents.
He leaves the window open every night. And that's how he lives in school.
They're like, "Oh, we're doing a lock-in." And he's like, "Yeah, I've never done that before."
That's so crazy. Okay, I'll meet you guys here. No, you don't have to meet me in my house. I'll meet you guys right here outside the school where I live. Yeah.
So then, she's like, Tina's like, "Becky, we just kind of wanted this to be us." And Becky's like, "I can't hear you, Chang Chang. I'm too busy drinking my 11-hour energy." And they comply, and then it's just her and Blaine. Sam and Tina have gone off.
They comply.
And then Sam is like, or Blaine is like tripping, and she's like, "Ooh, gay Blaine." She's like into him suddenly, and then he's like,
"Weird.
I'm gonna go find Sam and Tina." And he's
like, "I got a cramp in my leg." I'm like, that's a good cover.
So he's looking for them. And then he walks into them making out.
Okay, you can hear them making out like when he's down the hall. And I was like, oh no. And then like he walks in on them sucking face very aggressively.
And he's like, "Ugh, I can't." And then he runs off, and they're like,
"Oh, straight people."
And they're like, "We just had to get it out of our system. Like, I'm sorry." And he's like, "You made this about you. It's supposed to be about us with your tongue slurping." And then, so he leaves.
He's so
Blaine
dramatic.
also says something. He's like, "What about Nurse Penny? Did you forget about her?" I was like, "Yes, Blaine. Yes, we did. Everyone forgot about this college student who was working as a school nurse intern at the school, dating the child who works and who goes and lives at this school." Bam.
So then he runs off, and then he's still being dramatic the next day at school. They're like, oh my gosh, Blaine, we're so sorry. And he's like, this was supposed to be our night, our magic night. And instead you ruined it with all your gross boob talk and your face sucking. So you can just, and I turned down bumper bowling with Kitty and Artie. And I love bumper bowling. And I didn't want to be
another uncomfortable thing. He says, I don't even find Tina attractive anymore. And I'm like,
yeah. He was like, it must have just been like hormones or something. He has basically shrugged it off. And Tina's like confused.
Excuse me?
But then very like, okay, whatever. I guess we're back to normal.
Yeah, there's a running thing where he always says Tina isn't attractive. And I'm always like, Jenna Ushkowitz is very conventionally attractive. Like,
yeah, I don't understand that.
It makes me uncomfy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so also Blaine's like,
I didn't want to be a third wheel.
And then Sam goes fifth wheel. And I literally went, I like choked on my laughter. I was like, okay, that was kind of funny. That was like actually somewhat clever. And I was like, wow, that was, but there wasn't anything else that was funny.
Yeah.
Storyline.
And so he's like, you can just fondle each other's breasts or whatever. And then he storms off and Sam's like, well, like, do you want to? And Tina's just like, ugh.
No, you told me I wasn't attractive anymore. Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So then he comes back and they feel bad and he apologizes to them. And he's like, I just wanted us to have the perfect senior year. And it hasn't been that. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, you're making a real emotional reality out of like this pretty kind of lame storyline because like, Finn died. That's pretty traumatic, like they had to twerk. They had to do Katie or Gaga.
The same year as the shooting at school as well.
Oh yeah.
Blaine cheated on Kurt with the lighthouse.
Yes.
And Kurt dumped him and now they're engaged.
Wait,
God, I just got
cheating with the
whiplash.
lighthouse was this year? I thought it was last year.
No, it was this year.
What in the heck?
All of season 4 and all of season 5 so far have been the same school year.
This is too much. I'm so confused.
Bri appeared, Bri left.
So that means Kurt forgave Blaine and agreed to marry him within like within a total of 9 months.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So he's like, like I was holding on to things. We have to learn not to hold on to things and to, progress. And they decide they're going to sing a senior song. They're going to have Artie. Mr. Shu says, hope you're ready for Sunny Los Angeles. I know what a Nationals winning team looks like. And you are it.
You're ready. And everyone's like, oh, yay. And I'm like, you don't have a set list. You are not ready.
They don't even have the maximum or the minimum number of team members.
Because we don't know where Sugar and Reds are.
Yeah. And they're not ready. They're not as cohesive as the season 3 team was.
No.
They're a fucking mess. I'm like, Mr. Shu, you are a liar. Like, they only got to nationals on the technicality of the Warblers using steroids.
And then also they like the seniors like, yeah, like can we sing a song for you? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? And I'm like, sir, you have a nationals to prepare for because you're leaving in like 5 days. But he's got plenty of time to let the seniors sing another pointless song in the same fucking week.
So Artie joins them and they sing the song from Bridesmaids.
That's what it made me think of too. I was like, they're also a big fan of Bridesmaids. I'm
like, the writers had to have just been like, Bridesmaids is popular. Let's put this song in. Because I guess it was Hold On. So I guess that's how it's connected. But really, it was very loosely connected to the events.
Okay, wait. What year was this?
Bridesmaids
episode?
was out already. Because this was 2014 and Bridesmaids was popular.
Oh, God, yeah. 2011.
Yeah.
That movie is more than 10 years old. Oh, my God.
So they sing Hold On, and then it cut. We have Kurt and Demi Lovato and Adam Lambert singing. We have Santana singing outside the restaurant. We have Rachel singing, I guess, at Niata, their one New York set. So everyone sings the final number. It was okay. It was good. It wasn't great. It was fine.
It doesn't make me want to watch another episode.
Yeah.
It's not emotionally fulfilling in that way. Also, Tina's dress that she's wearing, it's yellow and white. It's got some black stripes. Not gonna lie, through that whole number, I was like, is that the same yellow, like golden, white, blue, and black dress that was a meme a while ago? Because it looks oddly similar. I don't think it is, but that's what I was thinking about the entire time. So I honestly don't remember the number.
It was that dress. Did that dress have stripes?
Yes, that was the point. It was there was either a blue and black stripes or there were gold and white stripes.
Yeah. And there's also hanging sheets as they're singing this.
Why?
They're in different outfits than when they said they were going to start singing the song.
Work for a song they're not even singing for nationals.
You know, they're leaving in 5 days. They don't have a set list, and yet they have so much time to start the song in the choir room, do a change of, wardrobe, set up the stage, and then sing that. They're just very willy-nilly with their time.
Yeah.
Same with the Jumpin' song. He was like, oh, we can't sing this at nationals. They're like, we just wanted to. And everyone's like, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with it. That's cool. I mean, we're not just like on a time crunch or anything.
And they're like also in that one, there's like everyone's dancing in the hallway too. We get to see some Melissa Benoist dancing.
Also, if you think about how expensive it is to get to LA, like a flight for however many children, and then their chaperone, and then hotel, and they don't even have a fucking set list yet. What a waste of I don't know,
taxpayer dollars,
$7,000.
Get out of there.
I could see Republican lawmakers trying to cut down on the arts spending, but they are too busy asking if they can be Asian. So I guess Will can just spend government money however he wants. So that is the end of Trio.
It happened.
Now here's a bonus question. For both of the trios on this podcast, who are you? Are you the Blaine, the Sam, or the Tina?
Can I pick between Kurt, Dani, and Elliott instead? Yeah, because I wouldn't want to pick between Shu, Emma, and their unborn child either. Tag yourself. I'm the unborn child.
I think Hannah's the Sam.
You think so? I would have given myself the messy bitch, Tina.
Tina, did that make Allyssa Sam? Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
I'm the dramatic one. I'm Blaine.
Well, so I was going to say Tina's also very dramatic.
They're a dramatic group.
But yeah, I mean, I somewhat empathize with Tina in the fact that she's really sad about leaving the stage of her life and stuff. And when they're trying on their robes, Sam and Blaine, I'm like, oh, I remember doing that for high school, for college, and for grad school. And there's something bittersweet about that. So yeah, I guess I could go with Tina in that aspect, that I do get pretty sentimental. I worry so much about my move from wherever I'm going, and then I get sentimental in the last moment. So yeah, I guess I would go with Tina.
Who would you identify with? Would you be the Blaine or the Sam?
I feel like Sam is the most chill about the whole thing, about graduating and leaving. So probably Sam, because I did not care about leaving high school.
You're like, yeah, that's whatever.
And I have one person who I'm still in contact with from high school, and the only reason why we're in contact is because after we graduated, we hung out. Not while we were in high school.
And I'm the Blaine because of that time I saw Hannah and Alyssa making out. And I freaked out. And I was wearing bright
Alyssa
blue
was talking
pants
all about
as
my
I did
boobs.
it.
And I was like, thank you for noticing.
And I was like, ugh, I'm gay.
Anyway.
And if anyone in our group were to dress up as a superhero, I've done it multiple times. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I would probably wear pretty much most of the things that Tina wears.
Same as wearing a green shirt. You'd wear green.
Wear green? Yeah, sure.
All right, so Bri and Cathryn and Paige, who isn't here to speak for herself.
Now you have to assign Paige. Now you have to play God, which Cullen and I did.
I'll tell you right now,
that responsibility
Paige
is.
is Sam. Paige is Sam 100%.
Yeah.
Super chill, wears green shirts.
Makes out with a lot of people. Not anymore. She has a boyfriend, but did make out with a lot of people. Yeah, doesn't have a lot of emotions.
Yeah, I was gonna say you were the Sam.
Oh no, girl, I'm Tina.
I
I cry and cry all the time.
Oh, no. I don't know who I would be.
I guess
somewhere
that makes
between
you...
Tina and Blaine, but I guess that makes me Blaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know, if I could imagine any of you saying you ruined it with your sucking, I could see Cathryn doing that.
Probably. I was very dramatic. I am very dramatic. But I also agree that Tina's dramatic. I mean, she threw herself on the ground crying.
Yep.
Yeah.
She also wears a lot of fingerless gloves. Like, I thought she would have grown out of that by now. They were still present. I don't know. I guess Blaine.
Nice.
So I guess that leads us to Tina
time. You know, we used to be better at that, guys.
Yeah.
It's okay. If I'm editing this, I'll put it together. I usually do.
I got 22.
That's good.
Yeah.
I counted, but like how I count is I just put a bunch of ones in a Google Notes, and then
you have to count them.
I do the same thing, but I put spaces every 5 once.
Smart.
Wow. That's next level.
So 2008, I'm so 2008.
Yep. You know.
Okay. So MVPs and LVPs. Cathryn, who is your least favorite character?
Oh, God. Okay. Either Will Schuester or Rachel Berry, but that's a given.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this episode, probably specifically Rachel.
Yeah, I think Rachel did suck more than Will this week. Bri, who's your least favorite?
Rachel. No hesitation. It's Rachel. It's always been Rachel.
It's you. It's always been you.
It's always been you. I said Shu and Emma for having sex at school. And then Rachel and Santana for both being brats, with there really being no stakes in this episode. It just uncalled for.
I'm going with Rachel just from her like extreme insufferability when she like invites herself into Elliott's home and like steals his bed. What the heck?
She's so manipulative this episode. Like she's almost always manipulative, but like this was particularly gross because we know what happened in the apartment. Her being like, they kicked me out. It's like he took pity on her. Yeah. And then she was like, oh, I was just so traumatized by the whole thing. I need to sleep in your bed. Gross.
Yeah, I'm going with Rachel because, you know, Rachel sucks a lot of the time, but she's not usually like such a blatant liar.
That's... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure she's lied before. Yeah. I can't remember, but like usually she's more like, I don't know. I think people can call her... maybe she's around people that know her bullshit more. I mean, Elliott doesn't know her bullshit, so she's taking advantage.
Yeah,
right. Like maybe
possibly.
like she's hyperbolic, like she blows things out of proportion, but like straight up, like she's lying. She's not even necessarily blowing this out of proportion. Like she's lying.
Because like if she tried to do this with like Finn would be like calm down, Rachel. Like, you know, like a lot of, or like Kurt would be like, okay, like they know her, but Elliott doesn't know her. So
exactly.
Yeah. Cathryn, who's your favorite character?
I'm gonna say Kurt. He kicked them out of the band with like no hesitation. He's like, I'm done with this. So I was very pleased to see that.
Yeah, he was sick of that bullshit.
Mm-hmm. He heard Elliott. Yeah.
Bri? You see, my problem is I don't really love anyone. I have problems with all of them.
Yeah,
however,
same.
I do love the principal. What's her name?
Sue.
God, she's so funny. Like she's very problematic, but she makes me laugh so hard.
This has also been a good season for Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really has.
She's been pretty like just calling them out on their bullshit and like not doing anything too crazy.
Yeah, and being really meta about the show, which is always good, even though she wasn't really in this episode. I chose Gloria from the diner for just, you know, she's so happy it's her birthday. She got a song that has her name in it. I mean, I don't know what songs have my name in it. I never thought about asking or looking it up. So good for her.
I'm going to go with Elliott because he is once again the most mature person on the show. And he was very kind in letting Rachel crash and it wouldn't take the shit between Rachel and Santana. He was like, I'm done with this. The only thing that would have made this better is if he kicked Rachel out after he realized this whole thing.
Yeah, that's
because
what
he says like we can be roommates, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I really wish he would have been like, find some other place to live. But then it's just like, oh, I'm glad he didn't like make her homeless. So,
well, she should be able to afford an apartment. Maybe that's not as nice as the one that she's been living in.
So, I mean, she got this Broadway gig, right? And it's opening on Broadway. It's not even opening off Broadway. Why is she still working at the diner? For fun?
Well, didn't we talk about, she talked about that at one point where
she's a working girl.
She has to be doing all of the same things that someone else is doing.
Right. Okay.
But I don't remember who.
The whole thing, like, why wouldn't she quit so she could spend more time practicing? Like, she's actually going to, like, she's going to be singing songs at this diner that aren't really good for her voice because she should be focusing on funny girl music. I don't know. I think too much about this fictional show.
So we have Hannah by SWMRS.
What the fuck is that?
I have no idea. I've never heard of any of these. Hard-Hearted Hannah by Ella Fitzgerald. Hannah Hunt by Vampire Weekend. Hannah
I did know about that one.
Striffer.
Wait, what was the second one by Ella Fitzgerald?
Hard-Hearted Hannah.
Oh, that sounds like me.
That Was Easy by Franz Ferdinand. Hannah by Coin. Hannah by Freelance Whales. I Want to Bite Your Girlfriend
I did know about
by
that
Girl
song.
in Red.
Freelance Whales is Chuck Chris's band. So
Hannah by La Montagne.
What is this? Where?
She said songs of Hannah. Memory Motel by the Rolling Stones. That's it.
Oh, no, thank you.
I don't think there are any songs about Alyssa.
I'm sure there are. I just found 8 for
literally
Hannah.
going to Google it.
Okay, so I think my MVP, I'm probably just going to go with Blaine because I like the numbers he was in. I liked his blue pants. And he was in his Nightwing costume and he talked about, I liked his like, your slurpathon, like his dramatics. I appreciated that because he's often struggled to have character traits. So I like when they give him them.
He struggles to have a personality.
So the music, we have Jumpin' Jumpin', Gloria, Dani's song, The Happening, Barracuda, Hold On, Don't You Forget About Me.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, lots of songs. 8 songs.
Most of them, if not all of them, shoehorned in.
Yeah.
Most of them just don't. Like Gloria is probably like the biggest offender because it's literally like, someone wants a number. Thanks. It's not the audience. Well, actually, it is because we're like, please, we don't want to hear you talk.
Cathryn, what was your least favorite song?
Oh. I don't know if I had a least favorite. I don't know. Maybe just like the weird song in the baby nursery, just because it was weird at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't even remember what song that was. Now that you said it all back.
That's Dani's song, yeah.
Dani's song, yeah. It was just weird. I know I've hated on Will Schuester this whole episode, but just everything he does is really cringy, including that.
Bri, what was your least favorite song?
I hate the song Don't You Forget About Me. Also, just the thought of no band being in the background really threw me off. And the chin faces disliked.
Yeah, that number was really weird. Speaking of the Dani song one, that was when I texted Cullen and I was like, I think I hate Matthew Morrison and his face and his hair. And then I was like, I think I'm turning into Sue Sylvester because I just like, there's just something about his face. And I thought it was just because I don't like William Schuester. I think I just don't like Matthew Morrison's face.
You know, I don't like his singing voice.
Yeah, I don't like his voice. I don't know. There's just something off.
Yeah, because I don't know what it is. He sings in Finding Neverland, right? Like I remember listening to that and being like, too much
not
syrup.
about it.
Yeah.
I chose The Happening, not the movie, the song, as the worst. I wasn't into it. I don't think I can get behind that trio. The duo, yes. I think that would be cool if Demi Lovato and Adam Lambert had their own little band in a separate universe outside of Glee where there's no drama.
I'm also going with The Happening. I definitely, okay, here's the thing. I had a massive hangover this morning and for the beginning of the afternoon, and I watched this episode, and the camera work really set off my hangover. And that one was really hard to watch. So I couldn't watch it. I was listening to it and it just didn't sound good. Like,
yeah, you're like, I don't like this either.
Yeah. So I'm going with that one.
I'm going with Barracuda. No one asked for that.
Yeah. Very shoehorned in.
And society didn't need this.
And yes, I think someone said like it just doesn't seem like Rachel's wheelhouse. It's just
like I think the thing about Leah Michelle is that like she can take almost any song and sing it adequately. But there are certain songs where she sounds great and others where it's just fine. Like I'm like, she sang the notes, it's fine, it wasn't like bad. But like
she sang the notes.
Yeah.
But there was like nothing in it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So Cathryn, what was your favorite song?
I'm in the minority. I like the trio song. The Happening. I don't know if I was swayed by the matching costumes and the campy dance moves. It's a very good possibility, but I liked it. I don't think Kurt was that bad in it.
All right.
We've definitely had wilder takes. So yeah.
I mean, it's not horrible. I just don't think like the music in this episode in general was good. And I think it's just like that
it was
average.
Just like there was no like super bass I Still Believe mashup to be like what, but like there was no like It's My Life Confessions mashup to be like yes.
Yeah, I mean like I was not really into any of the songs to be honest.
Yeah, everything was just kind of starts at meh.
Bri, what was your favorite song?
See, it's probably Jumpin' Jumpin', but even that was kind of mediocre. I think it's just because I like the song Jumpin' Jumpin'.
Yeah, I'll second that 100%. Like, I sang along until like I watched them dancing to it, and I was like,
What song
yeah,
was that again?
the very first one.
Yes.
And I love Destiny's Child. But what did Unique call them something that was like a riff on Destiny's Child?
Well, she was like, I'm not going to sway in the background while you all go Fiancé.
Oh,
and then
Fiancé,
Kitty
yeah.
was like, why does everything you say have to sound like that?
I think it was just like, for me, the thing that I latched onto, because Shu made me uncomfortable with his music. Barracuda was just, I would have preferred if Adam Lambert was just singing it. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Hold On.
Okay.
I couldn't really tell you why. But I remember thinking as I watched the episode, that was my favorite song.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm going with it.
I get it. Like, it was like, had energy.
Yeah. There was maybe the camera moved the least, so it did set off my hangover.
You know what's interesting? You say that about that it had like movement and like energy. Jumpin', which is literally like a clubbing song, has zero like energy when they're singing it. It feels just like they're just like talking.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, I liked it. I think Jumpin' Jumpin' was my favorite too.
Like, you got to do a lot of more movement with it, and it was just like, eh.
Yeah, it was my favorite, but it wasn't great. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of Trio. Bri and Cathryn, thank you so much for coming on.
Of course, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Yeah, we hope you had fun. Do you have any social medias you'd like to plug?
Sure. I'm not very like exciting.
Yes, you are. You're a graphic designer.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess I have my art Instagram. I don't even remember what it's called. I don't use it a whole lot.
I do not. Due to my work, everything's on private because I'm a therapist, so I don't want anyone on it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They're like, they found out you were watching Glee. They're like, this person's not qualified to be a therapist.
I would never hear the end of it.
Okay. My art one is Berna Lee 9_art. And then my regular one is just Berna Lee 9, which I'm pretty sure is on private, but I just like accept anyone. I'm like, sure.
You can follow Gleeboot on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We are at Gleeboot, GLEEBOOT, pod, POD. And you can also find us on Tumblr, gleebootpod.tumblr.com.
You can follow me on Instagram at Cullen Callaghan After, and check out very soon. We just recorded yesterday the first episode of Unhinged Fanfiction Crossovers, where I'm a guest. You could read my Joseph Gordon-Levitt Joe Jonas fanfiction. The theme was Joe's, and I decided that Joe Jonas was the bottom. Yeah. So read that. There's also some Joe Exotic, Joe Biden. There's some Jojo Siwa, Joe Rogan. I was the only romance, so don't worry. Joe Rogan and Jojo Siwa are not.
Thank God.
Yeah, no one wanted that, and it was did not happen. So, but it's like a hurt comfort story. It's pretty good. So, and we also talk about the history of fan fiction, and it's with former guest of the podcast, Eliza, who was on The Role You Were Born to Play. I'll let you know when that is released.
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen.
That had more energy than Jumpin' Jumpin' at points.
So, next week, I think is Nationals, and we're crossing over with the podcast Gleek Please.
Yay!
So we'll see how they do in Los Angeles. Tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.